Well, hello everyone, my name is Zachary O'Shea, and this is Box of Teeth. I have a mimic for each and every one of you for Dungeons & Dragons right now. Every Just Another Mimic Monday, even when it's filmed on a Tuesday like this one because real life got in the way, I reach deep into that box of teeth and produce a homebrew mimic for all of you for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Sometimes they're a little bit silly, oftentimes they're pretty horrific. Today, we have one that I think leans a bit more into horrific, and that is the Yoke Mimic. Something really laid into these bandits that you've been tracking for a while now. Some of them have been chewed into pieces, others partially melted, and it's hard to tell exactly what did the deed. Either way, though, the only thing that's left alive in the camp is a pair of oxen that are yoked to a cart. The strange thing is, they're rather nonplussed by the violence that must have occurred around them. But surely these simple beasts of burden couldn't be behind the carnage, could they? Without warning, they don't attack, but they start to trot off, carrying the cart of goods with them. It was logical that you tried to stop the animals, but perhaps not as logical that their yoke came loose, forming two slavering moths that seem intent on chewing you as well. You know what that means. Roll for initiative. Relatively benign for a mimic anyway. The first plow mimic was cultivated by an industrious farmer. When this animal, strange monstrosity or not, came into his care, he took it as his responsibility to raise it right and kind of integrate it into the ecosystem of the farm. Not only did it help fields get plowed, but it also kept the animals it was connected to nice and docile. Likewise, who needed a guard dog in that area? Because the very thing that was binding the horse or the cow or the oxen, etc., to work on that field would also protect them from any predators, and was glad to do so. Over time, the Yoke Mimic and its spawn have spread through the region and developed a strange magical property where they can bane or boon those around them, generally to help the animals that are under their care. And being that they're usually on a farm, there is enough food to keep them well fed, so they don't cause much of a problem most of the time. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the Yoke Mimic statistics for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. The Yoke Mimic is a challenge rating for large monstrosity that is neutral. Like any other mimic, it does have adhesive, shape changer, false appearance, and grappler, though it can only change into a yoke. It has Beastmaster, so any creature that it's attached to that is a beast or a monstrosity and has an intelligence of 4 or less is automatically charmed by the mimic. While they're charmed by the mimic, they also gain +2 to their armor class and are immune to the frightened condition. On top of that, it has Pass Under the Yoke, so any friendly creature that it starts its turn close enough to the mimic can move through the mimic's space and gauge the benefit of the Bless spell for a little bit. It has multi-attack for 2 bite attacks because it has 2 mouths, and it also has a pseudopod attack. On top of all that, it does have Burden, so it can select a creature it can see within a certain distance. That creature has to make a save, or they suffer the effects of the Bane spell. Pass Under the Yoke itself is a reference to an old way that you would help absolve people of their sins symbolically. You'd have them walk underneath an actual yoke, or spears that are supposed to be a yoke. Might be the original version of doing the limbo dance. I have no idea. Doesn't really matter to me. And then, of course, we always associate yokes with a burden, which is where those two aspects come from. I hope you enjoyed the Yoke Mimic. You can find it, along with hundreds of other mimics and hundreds more horror-themed monsters, all for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. They're all perfectly free at boxofteeth.blogspot.com. If you're more interested in the non-Dungeons & Dragons role-playing projects that I have, or the horror fiction that I write, that includes Grease Paint right here, it's got a killer clown. Book 2 should be out sometime this summer. You can always go to www.zacharyoshea.com. As always, I appreciate your time and your attention. Sorry this is a day late, and I hope you have a great rest of the week ahead of you.